Hi crafty friends, it's Audra Monk the Crafty Yogi, and we are going to stencil a snowflake. This is in the 2025 holiday catalog. It's called Snowy Delights Decorative Masks, and there's a stamp set that coordinates and some dies, which we will use on the card, but this video is just the stenciling. So the stencils are numbered 1 to 4. Mine are used. I did not clean them. You will want to clean them after using them when you're working in a group. You'll need some kind of washi tape or masking tape that is not too sticky so you don't rip up all your paper. So there's four stencils, so we need 4 colors. Today we're going to use Bubble Bath, Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, and Gorgeous Grape. And so I have a blending brush for each of those. All right, so to make it easy, I'm going to scooch those out of the way. You need to know where your paper's going to be and where you're going to attach your stencil. Okay, this is stencil number 1. So what I did, and there will be in the bin if you're coming to my event, I don't even have my own glasses on. Hold on, there we go. I don't know if you can see it, but I put a little line there. And so this is where my piece of paper is going to go. This piece of paper is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I am just going to tape it down. You know what? I did it earlier and I just used 1 piece, but you know, this is the video. Things can go wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and tape it down with 2 pieces, and that paper is going to stay in the same place. Oop, there you go, the whole time. Okay, and then I made a line of where my stencil is going to go. So if you're doing this on your own, you'll have to figure that out so that you'll know a good placement for you. And then the stencil, this is not a super involved thing. I'm just going to pick 1 piece of tape to hold the stencil down. You could put a piece, you know what? It's a video, I'm going to do it. I'll put a piece there. Okay, so my stencil is ready to go. Number 1, I'm going to go light to dark. I am sure you could play with this other ways, but I'm using pinks and purples, which I always like to have at least one kind of non-traditional Christmas color card, and I thought this was super fun for snowflakes. Oh, so I usually roll the brush in the ink. And then you'll see here that I have dabs. Sometimes if you put this really inky spot straight on, it'll make like a blotch, and you don't want that. So the blotch goes on the side, and then you bring it over. Now, you do want to keep your brush pretty even. I'm going to re-ink, because if I push it in there, I could pull up the stencil and kind of get them crumpled or, you know, mess them up. So you want to go very gently. And you decide how pink. You could go super light. It looks like I'm going to go medium. Okay, so my pink is done. Always close your ink pad because something will go wrong. You know it will. All right, so now I only want to take up the stencil. Look at my pretty pink snowflake. And then I'm going to take the washi tape and reuse it. All right, and then if you're doing this in the class, you would want to take the baby wipes and just gently wipe that and let it set aside to dry. All right, stencil number 2 is here, and the numbers are up in the top, so the stencil goes in the same spot. I use the lines of my grid paper and the little tiny line there, and then I know where my stencil should go. You can also, of course, kind of let the, see, I'm a little off the line. Let your eyes do some of the work and look down. But in general, it's going to go there. All right, so I'm taping my stencil down again. And now I go to my second color, which in this case is Fresh Freesia. Freesia? I don't know how you say it. So roll your brush in there. And then remember, put it off to the side. And this one, you definitely want to keep your brush level and even. Like, don't dig it in, because these are some little tiny pieces, and we don't want to rip or bend them. And again, you decide. So if you went really dark with your pink, you got to go in pretty dark with your Freesia. Freesia? I don't know how to say it. With this light purpley pink color. I'm going to do even more. This one's going to be a bold one. So the kind of fun thing is, even though it's a stencil, if you make more than one of these, they will quite often look different. And sometimes I have fun, like I make one dark and one really light, just so I can, I don't know. I like to see the differences. Ooh, look at that. That's looking pretty good. Ooh, I like that one. All right, and I'm using these same washies. And don't worry, we will clean that later. All right, we go to number 3. Number 3. And I'm going to let my eye guide me and try to line it up. Yeah, so I did not get it right on the line when I did my very first one. I am like just a hair off the line, but I am knowing that, so I'm taking care of it. If you did it, you know what? Hold on, do I have a sample? Yes. This sample, see, it's a little bit not exactly even, but it still looks fine. Although sometimes it might bug someone who is super, super detail-oriented, but anyway. All right, now I'm going to my Highland Heather, which is my lighter purple. And I'm wondering, because I'm seeing white there. I think it's supposed to be offset like that. I don't know. We're going in. Let me see. Which one is this? Oh, no, it's supposed to be even. All right, let's see if I can fix it, because this might happen to you too. All right, let me see. Sorry. All right, take that off. Hold on, because there's my line. There we go. I want it as even as I can. Okay. So see, now I don't have those little bonus little, like where it's offset. Although I'm sure that's a technique, but I'm going to go with, what? Did you see that? Hold your horses. You're like, Audra, don't you know how to do this? Aren't you a professional? Well, not really. I'm not really a professional. I'm just experienced. When I taped it down, that's when it moved. All right. Yeah, I'm just like a hair off that line. So I'm going to advise you, get right on the line. But, you know, I'm not making a second video. This is the one you get. And, you know, it's probably good because this way you learn what not to do. Or if something happens, you know what to do. Okay. So this is my lighter purple. Remember, roll it on your paper first. And don't worry if you get to the grid paper for this project and you notice that it is all marked up. It doesn't hurt your project. Good. So I'm just looking for those little dots, the little fill-in parts. I'm going to do one more. This one's going to be a very vibrant go. Okay. Let's close this and let's see what it looks like. And make sure sometimes, there we go. Sometimes they're hard to close. They don't get lined up exactly. Kind of like my stencil. All right, let's see how I'm doing. It was worth that extra fiddle. It was worth it. Don't worry, I'll hold that up at the end so you can see it closer. It was totally worth it. All right, so there's my washi. And then my last one. All right, so I got my little line, and I know that it's a little bit off. This one is probably less important. But see, we got those little hearts, and they're surrounding. There we go. Okay, now let's see if I can tape it without moving it. That's what was happening last time, is when I put the tape on, it would slide a little. So maybe you want to have the tape on it and then just set it down. But I got it that time. All right, and then we've got our gorgeous scrape. I know. Oh, you know what? Is it? I'm right on the ring light circle. Oh my goodness, guys. You know what? It's going back on the ring light circle. It just makes it look a little fuzzy. Sweet mamas. All right, so now this one I had a little brush that was left that was purple, so that's what we got. All right, here we go. And I'm getting all my little dots and hearts. And you just remember, keep the blush. It is like a blush brush. Keep the brush flat. Re-ink as needed for you. And you can always add ink. Even if I peeled this up, you could probably get it down pretty darn close to where it belongs. And so you can check it. All right, there we go. Let me see. Okay, and I'm going to take my stencil off. Ooh la la, look at that. Let me peel this off careful. And there, my friends, look how pretty that is. And I will say, it's worth the extra look. So here's one later, but also a couple things were slightly offset, a little more than I would like. This, I get an A+ on that one. So whether you get an A or an A+, no worries. You're going to put it on your card. You're going to have a beautiful card. All right, stay crafty, my friends. On to the next thing.